What is up, YouTube? These are Lawless. It's back at you with my pure Dark Magician list, and also because I know you will be seeing this. Hello, Loza. How you doing? So I thought I'd go back to my roots with this one. The first ever deck I built back, it was last year, the year before. Thanks to my friend who gave me the core, basically, was Dark Magician. Well, I say core. There was no souls, but obviously he was like 14. I was about 15. Was Dark Magician, and I'm going to go back to my roots for this. This is a deck I have been quite happy to play, and I've actually had some wins with this on the DV ladder. So I thought I'd share it. There is some copium picks in here, I will say that now, and this isn't optimal. For example, I'll say this now, we've got 1 Mission Souls, 1 Soul Servant. It should be 3 and 3. You'll see why. Soul Servant especially, and I'll talk about that one when we get to it. But starting off with the main deck. In terms of the actual bricks, and these are just bricks, I'm going to try and get Dark Magician to no longer be a brick, but I'll talk about how I'm trying to do that later. Got 2 DM, 1 Red Eyes, and 1 DMG. These are obviously mandatory. It's a Dark Magician, you've got to play Dark Magician. And because of Red Eyes Fusion, you've got to play Dragoon. And some Red Eyes by Dragon. DMG, in theory, you could play a second one of those instead of it. I personally like it for Soul Servant and another card in this deck I'll talk about in a minute. Because a big game plan I've seen with Dark Magician, it's like using the DS7, getting Winder alongside and Secret Village. I don't have Winder, quite frankly. I don't really fancy playing it. And my Secret Village has gone missing. I think I might have lent it to a friend and they've just not returned it or something. But until it arrives, or I find it, there's no Secret Village here. So what is the win con I come up with? Obviously you've got the DM triangle, which I've shown it now. But this comes into it because Soul Servant. It'll help me draw into my non-engine of the deck. Which is mostly just hand traps. Even so I want 3 Soul Servant. If I can go +2, or in this deck +3 potentially. I'll talk about that later. And I'll say Ash Veiler or Ash Imperm. That's going to be massive. But yeah, that's why DMG is here. You cannot play her, but I do have another reason why I'm playing her, which I'll talk about in one moment. The pseudo bricks, you have the Timaeus, because you got to play it. I mean, I think in some cases you don't have to, but in this one I like having it because it's just a body that gets himself on board. In theory, I could send off away cards I don't really need, including a card I'll talk about later, to then summon it as an extender, so I can then go further into my link climbing, say an Actors code with Timaeus at my availability. I also have 1 Apprentice Illusion Magician. It's the best search off Illusion of Chaos when you've already done Ref. It's a pseudo brick again in that aspect, but what I'm trying to get DM to work eventually is to be more of a combo deck than Ref Go Burr, because it has potential with it. And with its graveyard effects of some of the cards it has, it generally could be a terrifying force if we can get it to work right, which is what I'm trying to lab out at the moment. And then the final pseudo break, the one I'm really playing DMG for, Mana. I love playing Miracle Mana. This is honestly the best card I've had that helped me win going second. Without Ref, obviously. Because if I go normal Magician's Rod and they go Chain Veiler, Chain Mana, you summon it. Okay, that's negated, sure, but now you got 2 bodies. That could then equal, say, for my extra deck, 1 sec, a Dark. That could be a Nightmare Phoenix. That forces interruptions. You can send it off Magician's Souls and you don't have to summon. It's a Palladium monster, so lets you draw off Soul Servant with it. And when it's destroyed, it goes into DMG. Obviously, that's why I'm playing DMG. You cannot play DMG. I mean, that effect doesn't always come up, but I do like it. It is so good from the crackback to just out-summon your opponent and what they're doing. And that's it for the pseudo breaks. I mean, I don't really count this as a break, but I think in most instances it probably is. You don't want to see it in your hand. You want to send off Magician's Souls, typically. In terms of the other... these are the actual good monsters in DM. We have 3 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Again, it gets you where you need to go. It gives you access to your Magician's Souls. Should be a 3 of. I mentioned this earlier. I only own the 1 right now. There should be more coming eventually. This is a progressive deck. And 2's Rod. Yeah, this gets you access to everything you need, pretty much. This is amazing. If you have this in hand, say you have Illusion, you've done Ref, you have Soul 7 you can use. Or you got DM engraved, you can go activate Soul Magician, use this, search this. Effect, send mana, send souls. You don't have to summon. That's optional. And obviously you have Ref on board. You go Soul Servant stack, say Dark Magic Circle or Salvation, depending on the hand. And then you just draw 2. So yeah, that card you are stacked plus something else. It's very good. And obviously if you don't have Ref, you can summon it to draw it through your cards you don't need. So you have multiple cross-out designator, you can just remove one of them, get an extra card. Which could be a hand trap, it could be engine. And 2 Rod, it's the best normal summon in DM. It also doesn't do anything by itself. You go normal Rod, you say you search Circle, okay? Circle, you add Eternal Soul, okay, there's no DM though. You Rod, you add Magician's Salvation, same thing. Eternal Soul. You add Soul Servant, doesn't do anything. Secrets, doesn't do anything. By itself, it does nothing. Paired with literally anything else, it's amazing. But it does need to be paired, and that's the big thing. And that's it for the DM monsters. In terms of the spells, you have the best spell in the deck. Ref. I mean, once I can figure out how this works as a combo deck, you can cut this. But until then, you got to play Ref. You should also Red Eyes Insight, I'll say this now. I'm not spending £8 on it. I found one on a trading group. And I went, hey, can I trade for it? Yeah, the card's worth £8 for one. And it was a common. And I literally went, I'm good, thanks. But yeah, you should be playing 3 Insight alongside this. It is your best card. Alongside Pot of Prosperity, which I do not own as well. But again, it's progressing. And I think without it, I've managed to fit in more non-engine. So I can just... If I can't play, the opponent's not playing. In terms of the DM stuff, you'll have Circle and Salvation plus Soul for the DM trio. Salvation's also quite nice. You can then... I like Salvation. I would never not play this deck without Salvation, because if you have Souls, that's a free draw. So you have Salvation, set Soul, Eternal Soul, summon Magician Soul, send DM to grave. Magician Souls, you can just send Salvation, free draw. If you have Timaeus, I should put this away, didn't I? Yes. You do the same thing, send this to grave, summon this, and then you can fuse. Or you can just link it off your own second to say, with another monster. I do love having it. Similarly, Soul 7. This should be at 3 because, again, with the Palladium Oracle mana and with all the other cards, you want to use it to draw into your engine. It is some aspects where I feel like I don't want to see it solely by itself. I want it to be engraved. And that will link up nicely with another card we're also playing. And of course, the one secret you have to. Put this there because I'm talking about this and the other options now. Now, Dark Magician, he is a wizard, he's a spellcaster, but he doesn't do anything. That's my big issue with this deck. The main guy himself doesn't do anything. I love Soul Servant. As a card, it makes Dark Magician as a body do something that isn't just make Dragoon. So I'm pairing it with 2 cards. One, it's Foolish Burial Goods. Again, this you can dump Soul Servant to grave, so you can then draw more cards. But also, combination. That's not combination, it's navigation, that's it. This card has genuinely won me so many games. Because I've had hands where I had Ref, Foolish, plus Salvation. Salvation set Soul, Foolish send navigation, Ref make Dragoon. Or Dragoon negate something, obviously summon Dark Magician at some point. They'll go talents to take, navigation negate. And it doesn't just work on that. If they have branded Lost on the field, you can go Brand Lost, sure. Brand Infusion, Chain Dragoon. Reread out this. I think I read this right. Yeah, then you go Chain Navigation, target Brand Lost, negates Lost, so they don't get that. Brand Infusion isn't protected, and then that Lost is no longer alive for the rest of that turn, meaning the matchup becomes a lot easier to interrupt them. Yeah, I do think this is a very nice card to have. It might be me just being like some massive copium, but I do think this is what they should be very good in DM as a whole. That makes Dark Magician do something. Non-engine. Okay, so I chose to take the Snake Eye approach of just ram as many hand traps into the deck as possible. Because this deck loses to so many hand traps. But then how do we counteract that? Well, you play Called By, obviously, and you play Crossout at 3, because I want to see this card in as many hands as humanly possible. And I got that. Okay, so I want to counter hand traps. What hand traps do I really suffer with? Ash. Impum. Feeler. Okay, what other niche ones am I going to suffer with? In hands without ref, that's Nib. Ogre on Eternal Soul. And I've also got one Magmut, one Truism to counteract the Fiendsmith stuff. So if you want to do the maths here, that's 3, 6, 9. 12, 15 hand traps in this deck. You are going to see at least one in nearly every hand. I went to locals last night and I went X without ref, by the way. So out ref because of the hand traps. I went X 2 out of 4 rounds because I just kept hand trapping them until they couldn't play, and I could then slowly build up some form of a board. When I next go to locals, I might mention about how this deck does because I feel like it can do surprisingly well. Because hand traps plus ref, they don't get to play because if you use your monster hand traps first, they want to talent you. They got to wait for ref to be done. By that point, it might be too late, and they'll have to have talent to draw at some point, and you go ref negate that. It's very great to have. I love this many hand traps in Dark Magician. So it means that if we can't play, they can't play either. And that's it for the main. The extra deck. So the 6 sections here. This is in sections of. You have good. I guess it comes up, and I just needed to fill space. We'll start off with the good. And for the good cards you have in terms of fusions, 2 Dragoon and a Master of Chaos. Obviously Dragoon's the best card in the deck. Master of Chaos, it's nice. I've had instances when testing on DB where I've made Dragoon with ref, set secrets with Eternal Soul Past, negate something, and then I fused away my Dragoon and Dark Magician to make another, because when you fuse Dragoon with ref, it becomes Red Eyes Bat Dragon, which it specifies on Dragoon. And thus, I have made Dragoon more times than I want to count with itself. It's very good. And Master Chaos, going second, is the best card ever. Just to wipe their board, and if you got Dragoon on there, you basically win because you've made them restart their entire setup. And it also helps with extension. In terms of the good links, we have 1 Artemis, 1 Link Spider, 1 Dark, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Unicorn, and 1 Access Code. Where's Selene, you ask? I can't find one anywhere. It's really annoying. But I'm trying to find one so I can get my hands on it and just, make access code, Dark Selene access code the most consistent thing in the world. But these all work fine. Again, the deck's not amazing with comic anyway. But, going second, I mentioned Magician's Rod plus mana if they target it is a Dark, which usually also equals Unicorn. You just need to have 1 extra body to go access code. And even then, Unicorn's not a bad interruption by any means, by any state of the matter. Moving on to it can come up, I guess, extra slots. We got, that's the bad ones, here. Dragonite, I've made it once out of 10 games because I needed just an extra name. I needed to summon something to get Circle to proc, so I went to Lab, so I summoned this. It was alright. I don't think anything else other than that. It was just alright, I guess. And Psychic and Punisher. Now, this one actually, it comes up more than that. I think I might just say this is a good card. Because it makes Timaeus worth it. Because it makes Timaeus plus, say, Ash. Oh my god. Timaeus and Ash. That's 11. That's Pep. Yeah, if you have, say, Vader instead of an Ash, you need to get to a 10. You get Vader plus, maybe not Timaeus, but if you have, I don't know, Rod DM, or that's Pep. It's only other tuners in here. Yeah, same Ogre plus Twice again. Which is any addition to that. It is so handy to just have at my disposal because then, or even DM Souls, Ogre Ash, makes Pep, and then typically if you're already losing, say turn 3, you make this, you just can just smack them so hard they don't win. It comes up. It does come up. And I do like it for that reason. I'll play it for a while until I get something better, but until then, this is my kind of spicy tech. And then we got, I needed to fill space, going from worst to best. Sorry, best to worst. Zealantis, Ebb and High, Pit Night Early, and the single worst card in this extra deck by far, Kotalker. Very basically here, I just wanted to make room in my extra and fill the extra space up. And these were the ones that, out of all of my extra cards I had left, these were the ones I could actually realistically summon. World Sea, it's used for whiteboards. It can actually be good into like other decks playing annoying monsters like Dragoons themselves and whatnot. So I have had a match with Brandon and it came up. Ebb on High, it's a rank 7. It's that you use traps from the hand. Only all our traps we could just set. I did want to play Karma Cannon because of it, but I realised that was too much coping. Early, I guess it makes something an interruption. Only you need link arrows first. So we like that. Or if we have dark, like that. It comes up very rarely. I think out of 10 games it came up once. And it didn't help. It came up once because it's a fire. And this, I don't know. I just needed to fill space. Yeah. That's the list. I hope you all enjoyed. Do that, do the YouTube thing, like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, thank you, Loza, for roasting this deck list. Till the next time, cheerio.